Another round of applause. You see, there is something interesting around this place. Your singing is exceptional. Your singing is really exceptional. Now it seems to be part of Ghana. In the morning, I thought it was just that exceptional group in the morning, but it seems all the groups are just exceptional. So it seems music is part of Ghana here. And there's that other part, how do you call it? Is it high life or something? High life. Yo, I was like, no, this is interesting. We don't have that kind of, music in Zambia. In fact, not just Zambia, but the whole of Southern Africa. We don't have that. So when I was listening to that, I was like, this is very nice. And how I wish I could export this to, Zambia. But you see, we are differently talented. I can't sing. I can't sing. And now I wish I could, take this back to my country. Welcome to this evening's presentation. We can give a round of applause to Brother Franklin. That was, that was exceptional. That was exceptional. So I'll do a quick presentation because I want to see if we can have an opportunity for question and answer session afterwards, and just to see if we can interact at that level. So what I'll basically do, I'll give a quick synopsis, key points that I believe would be extremely important for you to factor in. I spent a lot of time in the morning just to share on a couple of aspects on my journey and the things that I believe would be quite helpful for you to start your journey. Now that you have started your journey, I'll share a couple of lessons that I believe are very important. So maybe let me give you about four key aspects that have been very important and pertinent in my life. So the first one is working in versus working on your business. Let us say this: working in versus working on your business. Now here's something interesting. Working in is when you are involved in the running of your business. When you are involved in the running of your business, you can do quotations, you're involved in production. If you are involved in the running of your business, you are then working in the business. On the other hand, working on the business simply means you are holding a strategic role. You are just controlling pieces in your business. You are not working in the business, but working on the business. Now, here's something interesting. If you are to succeed as an entrepreneur, and if you are to position yourself very well as an entrepreneur, you need to begin by working in the business. You work in the business, then you move out of the business, then start working on the business. Work in, move out, and start working on the business. Now here's something interesting. If you start by working in the business and you fail to move out of your business to start working on the business, a business where the owner of the business is working in the business, that business will never grow exponentially. That business will never grow. It will just move up to a certain point. It just ends there. It can never grow. It can never be a big, huge company where the owner is working in the business. For the business to grow exponentially, the owner must be working on the business. Let me give an example. I shared of a tech company in the morning, DLN Technologies. When we started out, I was working in. I was involved in marketing. I was involved in the production of cards. I was involved in everything, invoices, delivery, and everything else. At that point, I was working in the business. Then I began moving out of the business bit by bit by employing other people to hold certain aspects of the business. I was the only employee. I got a part-timer. Then I got a full-time employee. By doing that, I was then moving out of the business bit by bit. I was moving out from 2015. I finally moved out of my business in 2019. And when I moved out of my business in 2019, I moved out by employing a CEO. And at that point, when I advertised to employ a local CEO, I couldn't find a qualified person in Zambia. So I had to get an expatriate from South Africa to come in and become the CEO of my company. At that point, I was holding a strategic position. I was basically working on the business. And something very interesting happened. When this CEO took over the company, the kind of money that we made in that 1 year, his first year of working in my business, because myself I was working on, his first year of being employed, the kind of profits we made, I'd never made such profits in my entire time when I was running the business. In fact, I was even thinking to myself, why didn't I leave this business a lot more earlier? Maybe I would have been very far. At that point, I was holding a strategic position. I was working on the business. My role is, who do I employ? Who do I fire? Who do I get out? I am holding a strategic position. At that point, I am working on the business. Start by working in, move out, then work on the business. Now, here are the two extremes that we make as entrepreneurs. The first one, we start by working in, which is fine. But we continue working in the business and we never move out. We continue. 7 years down the line, your business is at the same level. 10 years down the line, at the same level, because you, as the owner, you are working in the business. So that is the first mistake that people make. So if you are running a restaurant and you are frying chips, a restaurant where the owner is frying chips in the kitchen, that restaurant will never grow exponentially. If you are running a bakery and you, the owner, you are the one baking bread, that bakery will never grow exponentially because you are working in the business. You need to move out and start working on. Then the other extreme, people start by working on the business. Now, when you start by working on the business, you don't understand your business fully. So if you are running, poultry as an example, maybe you have layers. If you've worked in the business, you will know how many bags of feed need to feed 1,000 layers. You will know that. You will know how much water is needed. You will know you will know how many eggs 1,000 beds give you. You will know that 1,000 beds, all things being equal, they will give you maybe 800 eggs per day. But if you've never worked in and you've started by working on the business, when your workers steal from you, you have no way of knowing. You've never worked in. When they give you wrong information, you have no way of knowing. You've never worked in the business. So when they tell you that 1,000 bags need, 20 bags of feed per week, you have no way of knowing if your worker is lying to you. When your workers say, we are only collecting 600 eggs per day, you have no way of knowing because you've never worked in the business. So the extreme that others have is they start by working on the business. And that is one of the major reasons why a number of businesses have failed. We have a number of people who are employed and they are just weekend farmers and they make losses. You keep funding your side hustle, it is making losses and you have no... It is for a simple reason. You do not understand the system. You've never been involved in the business. You began by working on the business. And you know, for businesses that have grown exponentially, do we have KFC here? Or Hungry Lion? Or you have Hungry Lion as well? Oh, okay. But KFC you have. You realize that the owners of KFC, they began by working in the business. They came up with a recipe. They came up with everything. So they worked in the business. But the owners now don't fry chicken. Why? They have moved out. They are now working on the business. Where do we open a branch? Where else can we operate from? From which country? Do we go to Ghana? They are working on the business. They are not frying chips. So if you're running a barber shop, of course, you start by barbing people. But that business will never grow if the owner of the barber shop is barbing people. So you have to move out at some point and begin working on the business. Then you begin answering questions like, where else can I open a barber shop? In which other country? Which town? At that point, you are working on the business. So just to summarize it, work in, move out, and start working on the business. Does that help? If we understand that, we'll avoid a number of challenges. So if you are starting your enterprise, be sure to be involved in your enterprise. It is extremely necessary for you. Very, very important. Now, having settled that, the other thing that I would want you to pick out, which is extremely important, is overhelping family, friends, and churchmates has perpetuated poverty. I am a Christian, and not just a Christian, I am an elder in the church. So I know, blessed is the hand that giveth and the one that receives. I know that. But I want to tell you that overhelping family, friends, and churchmates has perpetuated poverty in our lives. Let me break it down for you. Maybe let me give an example. Or maybe let me give myself as an example. I shared in the morning that I come from a very poor background, from the village. I'm the second born in my family. So at the village, we would do, plowing as pieceworks, where you have oxen and, go around and do the plowing and whatnot. That my brother knew very well. So he used to make money out of that. Then for myself, as I shared my story, got to Matero Boys, made the resolve that I wanted to save my family from poverty. From Matero Boys, I was selling pamphlets. From pamphlets, go to the village. I was running a kiosk. From a kiosk, I was trading in goats. Now, the time I was running a kiosk, my elder brother was very generous. Whenever he made money, everyone felt in the family that there is money. So he would buy, nice relish, buy what, and everyone would eat. And all was well. My brother was very generous. Now, for me, I had seen at secondary school how poor we were, and I'd resolved to save my family from poverty. So I was very careful on how I spent money. So one time, my parents, called me. I think out of love and out of care. So they sat me down and said, you see, your brother has shown that he can take care of us when we are old. But you, they said it in Nyanja, local language. But in other words, it means, you are stingy. You are stingy, and we doubt if you'll be able to take care of us when you are old. So you better amend your ways. And you see, when my parents said that, I totally understand. I think they said that out of love and out of care. They wanted me to be a better person and a responsible person. According to their understanding, that was the best they wanted for me. So I listened to them, and I had no way of justifying. But for me, I had the goal. And the goal was to save my family from poverty. Anyway, fast forward from, the kiosk, goats began importing things from Botswana and South Africa. Founded a company at 20 years old with two other friends. Those that have not watched the earlier videos, go back. I think it should be on these channels and hear out my story. Then my life changed when I was 22 years old. Then I got to buy my first truck, Atego Mercedes-Benz. A 22-year-old has bought a truck. And guess who I employed first? My elder brother as the driver for my truck. Then I decided to begin taking my siblings to school, one by one. You are going to secondary, you are going to college, one by one. I am now saving my family from poverty, bit by bit. But even as I was helping, I was very careful not to affect the business. My help didn't have to go beyond my profits. I was extremely careful. Then as we progressed on, it was up until 2017 when I decided to buy my father the first car. bought him a vehicle. Well, it was not brand new. It is these Japanese ones. I don't know if you have the Japanese ones here. Yes, but we sometimes call them new. So I bought him one. The old man from the village was very happy, and I told him, you don't have to worry about fuel and servicing. All you need to do is drive. The man was very, very happy. It was up until 2019 when I decided that now I can build you a house. Then I told him and mom, to say, okay, fine, here is an architecture engineer. Come up with the design of the house that you want, and I'll build it for you. Then they sat and they said, okay, fine, we are now getting old and we don't want a double-story house. So what we are going to do, we are just going to have a single-story house, like just the normal house. But they chose a 5-bedroomed house with bathrooms, everything inside, from the village. And I'm thinking to myself, how do these people really do this? At the village, in suit, everything. In fact, the house was so huge to a point that we could not roof it with timber. I don't know if you roof with timber here, do you? We had to use steel bars, trusses, to roof the house. I did the house for them with so much ease. Why? The business had grown. And for those of you that follow me on social media, you know that I tend to give out and sponsor a number of businesses in Zambia, be it, $10,000, $20,000, just to see how I could help young entrepreneurs. Why? The business has grown. It was yesterday when we were giving a school called Mwalukanga to the government, which we had built, the three of us. Stanbic Bank, here I think it is called Standard Bank. Is it called Stanbic? Stanbic Bank, myself, and PICZ. It is an insurance company. We built a school and we are handing it over to the government yesterday. I missed the event because, I'm actually here. Now I can help not just my family, but the extended family and indeed the nation. And here I am in Ghana trying to help you too. Why? Because the business has what? Grown. So be careful not to overhelp. Sometimes, we make a little money and we want to help everyone and our business ends up going down. Help, but do not overhelp. And some of you would come in and say, but you see, Dumisani, I'm the breadwinner in my family. I'm the breadwinner in my family. If I don't help them, they will die. So you think you are the Messiah? Eh? You think you are the Messiah? No, if you think you are the Messiah, try dying. Just try it. Just die. And see if they will not survive. You die, they are burying you. In fact, before they even bury you, they are laughing and joking. Life is back to normal. And you thought your people can survive without you. Help, but do not overhelp. And the funny thing is, when money comes in, we are ever all out helping. And the funny thing also is that when money comes in, problems come in. Immediately money hits your account. No, the grandfather has swallowed the shovel. No, my nephew has swallowed the razor blade. And you have to spend all the time. And now I don't know if you have kitchen party committees here and wedding committees ever contributing. Birthday party committee contributions. Every time we overspend and we affect our businesses. What I'm putting across is this. Help, but do not overhelp. Is that fine? Does that help? Or maybe does it make me sound evil? All right. So having said that, the third thing, I think I'll just share 4 things. The third thing is failure to handle failure has led to more failure. Failure to handle failure has led to more failure. Now, let me give myself as an example because I know what I've gone through and I know what I've actually been able to handle. Have I faced failure? Yes. Those that followed the journey, 2010, 12th March, I was robbed in South Africa at knife point. They got all the money. The only money that survived was a little money for transport back to Lusaka, which was in my inner pocket. Like I said in the morning, please don't ask me which inner pocket. Just know that there was a little money in the inner pocket. 2013, I made a massive loss in a tomato project. So you can go back on the earlier video, you get that. I lost everything. In the process, I even lost Bay. Remember the story? I made a massive loss. From that one, 24th August 2014, one of my trucks was involved in a tragic accident which led to the closure of my transport company. 2019, I was scammed. I don't know if scammers are here as well. On the internet, people intercepted emails. I'm sending money to the US. I'm sending money to the wrong account. $19,296 gone. In the process, I lost $40,000. 2019, gone just like that. I have faced these losses. Now, question, how have I handled failure? How have I handled those losses? How come I'm still sane? How come I'm still normal, no depression, nothing? I will explain this thing twofold. I don't know if this can work for you, but this is what worked for me. The first one, it is from the spiritual side. The other one, it is from the, physical side. So from the spiritual side, I find comfort in Genesis 1 verse 26. Let us make man in our image. Let us have him have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds in the sky, and over everything that creepeth. 27, man is created. 28, man is given a charge. I give you dominionship over the fish of the sea, the birds in the sky, and over everything that creepeth on earth. Keyword, I give you dominionship. Not that you own. You just have what? Dominionship. And here's my understanding. Man is not meant to own anything. We just have dominionship. So when I make losses, I know that I did not own in the first place. I just had dominionship. Naked I came, naked I'll go. What I have is dominionship. And I shouldn't kid that, you see, just as a reminder to us on the fact that you own nothing. I love nice clothes, I love nice clothes. Of course, here people don't seem to put on suits. And I seem to be the only one in a jacket. In fact, even yesterday, I noticed that I was the only one in a jacket and a tie. After church, I just went straight and removed the tie so that I could look a bit normal. Yeah. So I love nice suits. So southern side of, Africa, we put on suits. And I love expensive suits. And I can share, it's a fact. You see this suit? This is proper tailor-made suit. And a number of suits that I have are worth $1,500 or $2,000. How much is that in Ghana cedis? How much? 20,000? Yes. So 20,000, I don't know, but I know it in dollars. So 20,000. So I have a number of them. So one time, we are then calculating, the suits that I have and, the value and whatnot. And the calculation was getting to about 30,000, dollars plus. But here's something interesting. When I die, my parents, out of all the suits, they'll give me one suit, one shirt, one tie. And traditionally, they don't even give us shoes. They send us without shoes. Everything remains in the hands of others. I have a couple of vehicles. The Range Rovers, in fact, I even branded one of the latest Range Rovers in one of my companies. The Range Rovers, the Ford Rangers, I have that. But you know that for me to change ownership for the vehicles that I own, I need to put my signature. when I die, or that my parents, in fact, not even my parents, an old uncle from the village will just sit around the fire and they'll say, from today onwards, you will be the representative. The change of ownership will happen without my signature. The houses, the ownership will change. Why? I did not own in the first place. I just had dominionship. I just had control. Now the control has changed from myself to this other person. Human beings are not meant to own. They just have dominionship. So when I lose, I don't beat myself up. What has just reduced is my dominionship. I owned nothing in the first place. But why do we find ourselves in depression when we make losses? Why do we find ourselves failing to return tithe and offerings? It is because we think we own. You own nothing. You just have dominionship. Is that clear? So that is from the spiritual side. From the physical side, I see my life as a movie. My life is a movie. And I am the starring. Imagine watching a movie where the starring, I don't know how, the owner of the film, how do you call it? I'm now just interpreting it directly from our language. The owner of the film, the starring, the main guy. Imagine that the main guy from the start of the movie, he's beating everyone beaten. Up to the last fight, he beats. Would that movie be interesting? Okay, not for our sisters. They love movie. You are walking, the guy and the lady, they are walking, they bump into each other, books fall down. As they are picking them, how come you seem to relate? They are picking the books, they look at each other, they fall in love, they get talking, their family supports them, and everyone supports them. They get married, they have children, and they live happily thereafter. Would that movie be interesting? Do you know what makes the movie interesting? The starring will start. If it's an action movie, the starring will start. He's a good guy. The starring is normally a good guy. No problem. He's at peace with everyone. As the movie starts, as it moves on, someone will unfairly treat and accuse the starring. And you who is watching, you even get annoyed. These guys, they don't know that this guy is a good guy. You are forgetting that they were acting the movie together. But anyway, this guy is a good guy. Why are they treating him this way? So the guy will be unfairly accused even as it gets to the last fight. The starring won't just beat. He must be beaten first. When he's beaten, he's lying like one who's died. Then you are very sad. Yeah, the starring is gone. Then the camera people know how to work this out. They'll then zoom, get closer to the head of the starring. Then the camera, I don't know how, but it normally enters the head of the starring. When the camera has entered the head of the starring, then it will show what is happening in the head of the starring. It will show how the grandmother was ill-treated, beaten by this enemy, how the daughter was what. Then after showing what is happening in the head, the camera will move out. Then the starring doesn't open both eyes. He'll just open one. Bah! Then you clap, he's alive. When he stands up, it is slow motion. Bah, bah. Then this movie was nice. What has made the movie nice? The ups and the downs. So when I look at my life, these losses that I've had, it is what makes the movie interesting. And this is what happens whenever I make a loss. I smile. And when I smile, I say these words. This movie is a powerful one. It has taken another 10. But you need to understand that the winner film, the starring, won't die. You win. So I know. Even when I make a loss, I won't cry. I know that me, Finally, I'll win. I mean, I'm the starring. I'm the starring. So look at your life as a movie. That is what has kept me sane. When troubles come my way, I just smile. So when you have been rejected, just smile. It is part of the movie. All the challenges that you are going through, just smile. Keep pushing, but understand that you are the starring of your movie. Once you look at life that way, it is going to help you a lot. Does that help someone? All right, great. So the fourth one, there is the next level. You see, we need to be watchful of the people that we associate with. You need to be watchful of the people that you associate with. The people that you surround yourself with have a huge impact on you. Sometimes we think peer pressure is for kids and young ones. Peer pressure is there even for us adults and for you adults. Peer pressure is there. The people you associate with have a direct impact on your life. And you get it from the conversations that you'll be having. You'll find grown-up people competing on how poor they are. Like it's a conversation. Competing on how poor they are. Me, your problems are small. Me, I have been broke for, you are talking about that. What is the note that you have? You have a 20 Ghana cedi. So you move maybe from 100. Me, I just have 100 Ghana cedi. You are complaining about 100. Me, 50. You are complaining about 50. Me, 20. Then of course the last fight one will just come. After the 21 now, the last one will come and say, you guys, you're even confusing me. You are complaining about 20. Me, I've even forgotten on how it looks like. Competing on how poor you are. The people you keep around yourself have an impact on your life. And this is the same with those in school. If you keep guys that are not serious with life, you'll be competing on how poor your grades are. Me, I got 60. You are complaining about 60. Me, 50. 50. Me, 39. And you're even laughing. Then the other one, and always the one who speaks last is the last one. You're even complaining about that. If I showed you mine, you won't like it. Me, 20. You see, competing on how poor your grades are. I want you to understand that the people you keep close to yourself have an impact on your life. And be mindful of the people you keep close to yourself. Your network is your net worth. Now you need to pick this, and this is extremely important. Somehow, I felt I had made it. I'm the radical entrepreneur. The problem happened in 2018. I went for a meeting in London. And at this meeting, I was at Park Plaza. Now, for those of you that know, that is in the most expensive district in London. So I am there, the radical entrepreneur from Zambia. I am feeling it. And I truly felt it. We are the 7 of us from Africa. And out of the 7, we only had, 4 blacks. I'm in London, Park Plaza. The problem came in during the tea break. So all was well until tea break. When that tea break time came, we are standing, outside at Park Plaza. And there are these, cocktail tables. So you are just standing and waitresses are moving around with drinks and whatnot and food, finger foods and whatnot. We are there. That is our league. Things are happening. And I felt it. That levels are at a totally different level. Then the problem came in. My happiness was short-lived. When we started talking, this guy from Asia complains and says, I don't know, our business has gone down. Our turnover has dropped from 400 to $380 million. Like, okay. $380 million. Now I'm converting in my currency. I'm like, these figures are too big. But again, you don't want to show that you are surprised because you want to play the part. But in my heart, I am confused. These are the guys. Then the one from the States answers and says, but us, we have maintained at $600 million. Then I said, okay. Here, this is the wrong table. I won't let anyone intimidate me. This is my shine. I don't want anyone to affect my mood. I decided, since they are just tables and we are not seated. So I decided to take a match to another table. Who can hold me? We are just interacting. So I went where there was a fellow Ghanaian. And I remember the man, I don't know where the office is. They deal in cards. Then this man, coincidentally, he had received a contract. And the figure in question for the pilot thing and whatnot, it was about $80 million. The moment he said that, I knew that I am finished. These figures, I am what? Finished. In fact, when my time came to speak, I said, I can't talk figures. Based on what I've already heard, I'll devise a way of working around this. I'll not talk what? Figures. I'll just talk percentages. When my time came to speak, no, you see, we've increased our turnover by 20%. They were clapping, but they didn't know 20% of what. We've reduced our cost by 15%. Everyone is clapping, but they don't know 15% of what. But you know what that did? When I moved out of London, I had never worked the way I worked after that, because I was challenged by people who are in the next level. Whatever you may be doing, I want you to know that there is the next level. In fact, straight from that side, the way my life exponentially moved, it was at a totally different level. In fact, life moved so much and I achieved so much after that incident because I had seen the next level. So position yourself and associate with people that are achieving better than yourself. In fact, it was after working so hard after that incident that, I went in the showroom. There's what we call vehicle center in Lusaka. So when I got there, I found out what is the most powerful pickup. So most Zambians love Ford Ranger. So I wanted a pickup then. Wanted a Ford Ranger. Love a Ford Ranger. So I went to the showroom and I said, I want a Ford Ranger. Then I questioned the sales executive. So amongst your Ford Rangers, so he was showing me. So I said, so which one is the most powerful amongst the ones you have? And then he said, the World Trek. I said, okay, fine, the World Trek. Okay, fine. So he shows me the World Trek with pimped up and everything else done. Then I questioned him to say, all right, so how much is the World Trek? At first, I was trying to explain. No, this one, when you're on the road, it does what? No. Is it the most powerful? Said yes. So how much is it? He mentions the amount. But then he's very apologetic. But don't worry, we have an arrangement with this bank. You cannot. I told the guy to say, you see, our problems differ. You have your problems. And the problem of telling me about the bank, that is not my problem. Right now, I have a very big problem. And the problem I have is from which account I should pay. From my personal one or the corporate one. Why? Because levels had what? Changed. So when you interact with people that are at the next level, there's a way that your life is equally going to change. Having said that, I'm a sad man. A very sad man. And this is the challenge I have for Ghana. And this is the challenge I have for Africa. It calls for yourself and myself to rise to the occasion. I saw news today that 1,000 medical doctors who have gone through this housemanship in Ghana, the government says they will not employ these medical doctors. 1,000 medical doctors. They will not be employed because of lack of finances. These are medical doctors. And this story is not different. I'm coming from Malawi before passing through Kenya. The story is the same. Jobs are difficult to come by. And this is the same story in Zambia. The creme de la creme medical doctors are holding placards. And you see, I'm holding on to medical doctors because medical doctors had it easy to get a job. So if medical doctors are having it difficult to get a job, it simply says a lot about many other professions. So getting a job has now become very difficult. It calls for yourself and myself to rise to the occasion and begin entertaining the thought of entrepreneurship. There is no single government in the entire world that is going to curb the challenges of unemployment. It calls for yourself and myself to curb the challenges of unemployment. We need to begin thinking of entrepreneurship. I know that from a very young age, we have been told that go to school, get a job, and become successful. But there are no jobs. We need to have a revolution. We need to stand together and realize that entrepreneurship is the way to go. No one is going to give us these jobs. No one is going to employ us. We need to take it personal. And for this change to take place, it will call yourself and myself to rise to the occasion and begin thinking of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the way to go. Don't tell me the story that no, others are born to be entrepreneurs and others are not. Every person can be an entrepreneur. You can learn to be an entrepreneur. You can learn. The same way you learn different languages, the same way you learn different cultures, the same way we learn different accents, is the same way we can learn to become entrepreneurs. We can change. The same way our forefathers brought us political independence is the same way we can bring about economic independence. The challenge we have is that we think we can't. I want to remind you that we can. You are in Ghana here, the story in Nigeria, the story in Gambia, the story in Zambia, the story in Botswana is the same. We need to rise to the occasion, especially you, the young ones. The future of this continent is in our hands. It is the young people that have changed the narrative of Africa. It is the young people that brought us political independence. And we are the young people that should bring about economic independence. Let us hold hands and realize that we can change this. No one is coming to change anything here. No one out there is spending sleepless nights because of our challenges in Africa. It is yourself and myself. The challenge with current youths, the challenge with current young people is that we think we can't do anything. And we are comfortable as WhatsApp admins deciding on who to add and who to remove. And we are comfortable there. We can make the change. The people that brought us this liberation, Muammar Gaddafi, 27 years old, he was leading Libya. In Zambia, our president was 40 years old and was one of the oldest. The oldest in the entire cabinet was 42 years old. The majority were 35 and below. And this is the story across Africa. It was young people. But what are we young people doing about the challenge that we have? One who stands to make the change, we want to fight him. One who stands to change the direction, we want to fight the person. And as a result, those that are fighting to make the change are not moving at the rate they should move at. You youths who are here, I would want you to be the change that Ghana has been waiting for. I want you to be the change that Africa has been waiting for. Once we hold hands and push together, Africa will be a better place. May God bless us all.